Hi folks, this is Chuck from the Brownie Camera page, and today I want to talk a little bit about the Kodak Starflash Camera, which is inside this case. I have a really nice example of this camera, fortunately. In fact, I have a couple of these cameras, and all of them are the red model, but we'll go over model types in a few minutes. So this was the case for it. And you can also see in the case, it has all the vital information, all the vital stuff that you need to use the camera in it, or you can also, of course, take it out. Now, this is a nice, really nice example of a red model of this camera. Probably a nice example because of the case. Whenever you're looking to buy some of these cameras, if you see them, if you find them in the case, they're probably in some of the best condition that you can find. So let's go over this little beauty of a camera a little bit. The Starflash was manufactured, started manufacture in March of 1957. And it was discontinued in June of 1965. So it had over an 8-year lifespan. It used 127 film, one of my favorite format films for some reason. It had a picture size of 1 5/8 inches, and that was square. So that's also commonly known as a 4x4. So it's 4x4 centimeters. This camera was manufactured in the U.S. primarily, but it was also manufactured in France. It was one of the few models that was manufactured in France. I wonder how they came to decide what cameras were manufactured where and for what markets. That would be interesting meeting to be in, I think. It has a Dacon lens and a rotary shutter. To my knowledge, there's no documentation on how many of these were made, but there were a lot of them made for sure. And the original price of this camera, I think when it first came out, was $8.50, which in 1957 that would have been quite a bit for this camera. There was a black model, which was manufactured for the life of the production run. There was also this red model, which was manufactured for 2.5 years, from 58 to 60. There was a white model that was manufactured from March of 58 to August of 62, and the same dates for a blue model. And then from 1951 to 1960, from 1959, I'm sorry, to 1961, Kodak had these manufactured specifically for them for promotional use with a Coca-Cola. I should say Coca-Cola had them manufactured for promotional use. I'm sorry. And I'd love one of those, I'll tell you. A Coca-Cola motif Starflash camera. I've never seen one. I would really love to have one. Interestingly, this camera was also supplied in an outfit and renamed a Kodak Startech camera. And what it had, and I wish I had an example of it, it had close-up lenses. It also had this sort of square frame thing on the front, and it was marketed to dentists for technical shots of, I'm sure many of you have had photographs of your teeth done, and in this day and age, it's very high tech. Well, this was the tech camera for dentists for a couple of years, which I find absolutely amazing, quite frankly, because of the way it's built and stuff. But this was high tech in its day. This, of course, has a built-in flash, and the flash uses these bulbs. These are a what are called an M2. This is an M2B bulb because of the blue. And it basically was pushed in right there, like so. Whoop. Let's see if I can get it to push in correctly. Yep. So then it was pushed in like so. And after you shot it, after you used it, of course, the bulb was very, very hot. And so you would use this little button. You'd press it, and you would let this fall on the ground or something because it was so hot. But you push it, and it came out. It popped out. On the back of the camera is also right here is the instructions for the bulbs and if you're using what film, what bulb you would use at what distance. This, of course, is the film number window, so you could see the what number frame you were on in your film. And this little thing right here is the viewfinder that went right through the center of the camera and came out here. I find that fascinating on this camera. This camera was one of the ones designed by Arthur Crapsey, who was hired by Kodak to design cameras. He came up with the whole the Star line of cameras, the Star series. He also came up with, if you look at this camera carefully and you know your Brownie cameras, you would see without the flash that this looks very much like a Brownie Holiday or a Brownie Holiday Flash or a Brownie Bullet. Looks very, very similar. And in fact, there are these curious little filled in plastic areas here on every Star Flash I've ever seen, and it's almost like this was intended or it was used from a mold for pin and screw flash attachment. But of course, this didn't need it because it has its own built-in flash attachment. Crapsey also designed my favorite Brownie camera of all time, which is a Brownie Hawkeye. I think one of the most beautiful cameras ever designed, quite frankly. Even to this day, I mean, it's these cameras, not only the Hawkeye, but these Star cameras too. It's almost like they're a work of art. Looking at them and looking at their design features. In my humble opinion, this easily opens. There's a little slide here. You slide that to open. I'm not going to load this camera with film in this video. I've already got a couple loaded that I have to shoot. But you take this out. The spool, of course, the empty spool would be on the winding. Other film goes here, goes around, and is wound on. Then that goes back into the camera. Nothing is forced, of course. Put into place and locked, and it's ready to go. One good thing also about this camera and the Star cameras is that unlike many other Brownie cameras, this shutter was cocked only when the film was wound. So, for instance, I can't pop that shutter. However, if I wind it, you hear sort of a click, and then I can take the shot. That eliminated double exposures. I'll leave the links below for where to find flash bulbs for this camera. There are a couple of different places to get it. Where to get some film. And anything else I can think of between now and when I actually put this video live. And let me think if there's anything else I wanted to talk about. No, there isn't. So there it is. There's the Brownie Starflash. simple, but high-tech for its day. There you go. Nice example of a Brownie camera. This one works great, too. I've run a couple of rolls of film through it. Well, that's it for now. Check the links below if you're looking for bulb or film for this camera or any other Brownie cameras you might want to try out. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.